Hello everyone, this is my lecture number 10 on network theory, and in last lecture I have discussed about the basics of inductor and capacitors and their primitive equations. That is, for capacitor a current I equal to C dVdt, and for inductor V voltage across inductor is L into dIdt. Now now I am going to explain you the basics of alternating current circuit analysis, that is AC circuit analysis. Now we have so far considered direct current sources and circuit with DC source basically. Now this current, the DC current do not change direction with time. The but in practical cases, especially the electric main supply in our homes or offices is a voltage source like that looks like a sine function or cosine function, which is varying with respect to time. Now this is called alternating voltage, or the current is called alternating current. Now today most of the electrical devices we use require AC voltages. Now this is mainly because of the electrical energy sold by the power companies is transmitted and distributed as alternating current. And why this is so? Because that transmission of current in alternating form economically is very economical, basic for over long distances. Now, AC circuit exhibit characteristics which are exploited in many devices of daily use. Okay. So now, say let us consider AC voltage applied to a resistor. Now here this simple circuit, we have an AC alternating voltage source, AC source, whose V is Vm sin omega t, where Vm is the maximum value of the sine function. Let us see the waveform. So Vm, this is your Vm sin omega t. Okay, this is with respect to omega t, and this is your maximum value Vm. Okay, and this is one complete cycle. So depend on that, this is one time period. So frequency will be 1 by t. And now you can see this is sine waveform, because sine 0 is 0. Okay, sine pi is 0, sine pi by 2 is 1 into Vm that we are getting. So say we are applying a voltage source V, that is Vm sin omega t, across the resistance. Now if we apply KVL across this loop, what we can write, that Vm sin omega t is equal to IR. I is the current flowing through the resistance, and I into R, that is the voltage drop across resistance. Those two voltages must be the same. So from this equation we can write I equal to Vm by R into sin omega t. Now here R is a constant or resistance value. So what we can write, that I is equal to Im sin omega t, where Im is equal to Vm by R. Okay. Now this is just like Ohm's law. Im equal to Vm by R. So for resistor is follows the Ohm's law only for both AC and DC voltages. Now if we compare the waveform, what we can see, this is your Vm sin omega t and this is your Im sin omega t. Now Im is nothing but Vm by R. So Im value is obviously that will be lesser than Vm. So we are considering it is lesser than Vm. Now from this graph again we can see that voltage and current are in phase with each other. In phase means the 0 points are at the same point, same location, and maximum occurs at same location. Now see here 0 occurs here for Vm, and for V and I waveform 0 occurs at 0, at pi, at 2 pi. Maximum occurs at pi by 2, and here it occurs at this point. Okay. That means what? It is in phase. These two waveform for V and I both are in phase with each other. Okay. So maximum, minimum, and 0 occurs at same time, at same location or same point. So now what we can do is we can now find out the power. Power is nothing but I square R So I is Im sin omega t. So I square r sin square omega t. Then average power P is nothing but I square r into sin square omega t. Okay. Now in this case, this sin square omega t, what you can write? You can write as half 1 minus cosine of 2 omega t, right? According to the trigonometric function. So now this cosine omega t, 2 omega t, if we integrate that over a period t, the average value that, so basically the formula to find out average value over a period t is nothing but ft equal to 1 by t from 0 to 2 ft dt. Now in ft, if we put this term cosine of 2 omega t, okay, then if we integrate that over 0 to t, we will get 0. That means sine omega square sin square omega t half minus half into 1 minus cosine 2 omega t. Here cosine 2 omega t average power is 0. Then what we left? Only the half. So sin square omega t is nothing but half. Okay. So we can put it here half in this equation. So what we are getting, average power equal to I square r by 2. Okay. So now there is another point that you have to remember, that is called root mean square value. That we express AC power in the same form of as DC power, P equal to I square R. Okay, so here P is average power, P is for AC is I square R, I m square R in divided by 2, right? So if you want to replace that with DC power, P equal to I square R, what we can write here, that is a special value of current is defined and used. It is called root mean square or RMS or effective current. Okay, so that is the I, root mean square value, which is even denoted by IRMS or I. Now which is nothing but Im divided by root 2. If we make it square, Im square by 2. Okay, so it is defined as I equal to root over of I square, root over of half Im square, or Im by root 2, or 0.707 Im. That means this I is the I equal to Im by root 2, where I is the maximum value. Okay, and this I is the RMS value, or I equal to 0.707 Im. 1 by root 2 is 0.707. So maximum is nothing but root mean square into root 2 or divided by 0.707. Okay, so if we, so always remember that IRMS value or VRMS value, that is equals to Vm by root 2 or Im by root 2. Okay, now in terms of I, the average power denoted by P, we can write as half Im square R, or we can write I square R, where this I is the RMS value. So if we take it root 2 and make it whole square, then that becomes Im by root 2 whole square, so I square R. Similarly, you can write voltage is Vm by root 2 or 0.707 Vm. Now again we can write Vm equal to Im into R. Okay, so Vm we can convert into RMS value. So Vm by root 2 equal to RMS value of Im by root 2 equal to R. So that will be V equal to IR. So VRMS equal to IRMS into R. Okay. So this equation gives AC current and AC voltage and is similar to that in DC case. Okay. So suppose for an example, in the household line voltage of 220 volt is RMS value. Then 220 voltage is RMS value. Then the peak voltage is Vm equal to root 2 into V. That is 311 volt. So in case of AC, unless it is stated, always that value is RMS value. Okay. Now again we can write P equal to V square by R or IB. Okay, that is the point that you know. Now let us take one example of that. Say problem. The light bulb is rated 100 watt for a 220 volt supply. Find the resistance of the bulb, peak voltage of the source, RMS current through the bulb. So P is given and V is given. So resistance will be what? Now we know P equal to V square by R in terms of voltage. So R equal to V square by P. So we can find out resistance directly. Now Vm is what? And this V value is the RMS value. So V maximum is root 2 into V 311 volt. Since P equal to IV, so we can find out I P by V, so the current you got. So this is how we can calculate. So here this V is RMS value. So to find out V max, we have to multiply by root 2. This point you have to remember. Now say how to represent of AC current and voltage by rotating vectors or phasor diagram. In previous section, we learned the current through a resistor is in phase with the AC voltage, but this is not in the case of an inductor and capacitor or combination of these circuit elements. In order to show phase difference or relationship between voltage and current in an AC circuit, we use the notion of phasor. Okay, that is called phasor. The analysis of an AC circuit is facilitated by the use of a phasor diagram. Now, a phasor is a vector which rotates about the origin with angular speed omega and which is in anti-clockwise direction as shown in this figure. And the vertical components of, so this is your V, okay, and this is your I for the pure resistive circuit. Now what we can do, we can plot that in terms of phasor, like what? So at this point 0 is 0, angle is also 0, so this is the part. Now when this is V, that we can draw a line, and we can draw a line here, that is your V. So now if we drop this value perpendicular, if we draw a perpendicular line here up to x-axis, this value is nothing but your this V, right? And for I, this is the point, and then if you draw the perpendicular to the x-axis, this is your I. So this is your vector which is rotating anti-clockwise direction. And for this pi by 2, what happened? Angle pi by 2 means 90 degree. So 90 degree means this will reach here, and that will be equal to this V value or maximum value Vm. Okay. So this is called a phasor diagram. Now this is another plot that you can see so that you can understand. Say A equal to the voltage or current Am sine omega t plus phi. Now here there is no phase difference. This started from 0. So this is a sine waveform. So this is your omega t. Now what happens? Say 30 degree. Okay, and this is your phasor. With respect to 0, if at this point you have to find out the voltage value or current value, this is at what? At 30 degree. And if you draw this line, so it will give you an angle with this 0 axis. This angle will be just 30 degree, and if you draw the perpendicular line here, this will be gives the value of A at this point. Similarly for 60 degree, if we have to draw this line to here, then this angle is 60 degree, and the perpendicular line will be this value of A. Now for 90 degree, if you draw it, so this is 90 degree with 0 location, so this is your 90 degree, and this value is nothing but your AM. Okay, so this is the phasor diagram, and the vector rotation is anti-clockwise, omega in radian per second. Now say for AC voltage, if we apply AC voltage to an inductor, what will happen? So this is a voltage source inductor. Then what we know, the primitive equation of voltage drop across inductor, that is V equal to L di dt. Now across this loop, if we apply KVL, what we can write? V equal to L di dt or V minus L di dt equal to 0. So summation of voltage drop across a loop is 0 according to KVL. Okay. So in circuit, in AC circuit also we can apply Ohm's law, KVL, KCL, current divider, voltage divider rule, everything. Okay. Whatever you learned up to now. Now here what we can find out, that di dt, if you take V equal to L di dt, then di dt equal to V by L. Now V is nothing but a voltage source value Vm sin omega t. Okay. Then what we can find? We can find out the value of I by integrating both sides. If we integrate both sides, what we will get? I equal to Vm by L. Now sin omega t, if we integrate, it will be minus cosine omega t divided by omega plus integration constant. So what we will get? I equal to minus Vm by omega L cosine of omega. Right? So plus, so now what we can say, that I equal to, now here say we have minus cosine omega t. So minus cosine omega t is nothing but sine omega t minus pi by 2. Okay. So what we can write, I equal to Vm by omega L, that is equal to say Im sine omega t minus pi by 2. So where Im is Vm by omega L, where Im equal to Vm by omega L, and instead of minus cosine omega t we have written sine omega t minus pi by 2. Now this quantity omega L, we can write this one as XL, which is called inductive reactance. Now I, according to Ohm's law, what you know, I equal to V by R, and this is in similar to same similar expression. I equal to Vm by something X, and this is L, so we are writing as XL. XL is inductive reactance that is offered by inductor to the flow of the current. I equal to V by R, that means resistance offered by the conductor to the flow of current. Here this is, instead of R we have omega L, which is XL. XL equal to omega into L. Okay, and this is the opposition of current for the inductor offered by the inductor. So Im is nothing but Vm by XL. We can write where XL equal to omega L. Okay. Now and what we can see here, that V equal to Vm sin omega t, but I equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. In previous, for resistance case, what we find out, that V equal to Vm sin omega t, I equal to Im sin omega t. There is no phase angle here. Both are same. Only that is Im, here it is Vm for voltage and for current. But in case of an inductor, what happens here, that we have I equal to Im sin omega t minus 5 by 2. Now omega t minus pi by 2, that means what? It is lagging by pi by 2 angle or 90 degree. So and voltage is Vm sin omega t. So if we plot that graph, what we can see, this is your Vm V, and I will start at pi by 2, that is lagging behind. So it is starting at pi by 2, then it is flowing. Okay, and we can draw it backwards also. Then what we can find out, that if we take one point here, then you plot the phasor, this is your V, and same point, that is I, if we draw, and if we find out the angle between these two is 90 degree. Okay, so V and I is 90 degree phase shifted, okay, or 90 degree out of phase. Here what happened, here voltage is leading, because here voltage is Vm sin omega t and I equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. So it is 90 degree lagging. So for inductor, pure inductor circuit, voltage is leading by the current. For voltage is always leading. Okay, that is the main point, by 90 degree. Now say you have to find out the power. Power is Vi. So Im, so, so I is Im sin omega t minus pi by 2 into Vm sin omega t. Now if we multiply Vm into Im, and now sine of A minus B, sine of A and B, if we apply the trigonometric function, what we will get, that is twice of cosine of omega t into sine of omega t. Okay. Now here we have to take by 2 at the denominator, because we have to multiply it by 2. Okay. So what we can see here, sine of omega t minus pi by 2, this is nothing but cosine omega t minus of cosine omega t, and here sine omega t. Now cosine omega t into sine omega t, 2 of cosine omega t into sine omega t, that is equal to sine of 2 omega t. So here 2 and here is one other 2 is coming into picture. So we have this particular term. Now if we want to find out the average power over one cycle, that is 1 by t integration of ft dt 0 to t, then what we see that this will be 0, since the average power of sine 2 omega t over a complete cycle is 0. Okay. So average power for resistive circuit is I P equal to is nothing but I into R, I square R or VI, right? So power is nothing but I square R, or for the case of pure resistive circuit. But for pure inductive circuit, the power is 0. That means inductive circuit or pure inductor does not dissipate any power. Okay, it stores the power energy. Now say we can understand that by plotting resistive and pure inductive circuit wave V and I waveform together. So this is your V waveform of, and I is in phase with B. So 0 occurs at same point, maximum minimum occurs at same point, and P equal to V into I. If we multiply VI, so positive positive, so it will be positive value, and here both are negative, so negative negative it becomes positive value. So we have power consumed, okay, for a pure resistive circuit. Now for the plot of inductive circuit, here you can see this is your V and I is lagging by 90 degrees. It is started from here, and we can draw backwards graph also. This is your V, blue one, and red one is the current. It is started from, see here, started from pi by 2, okay, and you can protrude that, or you can draw backwards. Now if we multiply to find out power, see here in this region, in this 0 to pi by 2, what happens, your voltage is positive but current is negative, so power will be negative. Now from pi by 2 to pi, voltage and current both are positive, so it will be positive, power is positive. Now from pi to pi plus pi by 2, at this point what you can get, that here voltage is negative, but current is positive, so power is also negative. Now for up to 2 pi, in this region what we can see, that both voltage and current is negative, so power is positive. So what we have, positive power here, negative power here. Now if we sum up this positive negative, that will cancel out, so ultimately that will be 0. But in this case, that is both are positive, so it has consumed power. Resistive circuit to a pure inductive circuit, power consumed is 0. Say and simple example, pure inductor have value of L 25 millihenry connected to 20 volt source. Find inductive reactance and RMS current in the circuit, where the frequency of the source is 50 Hz. Now XL equal to what we know, XL equal to nothing but omega into L, and omega is what, nothing but 2 pi f. So 2 pi fl, 2 pi f 50 Hz L is the 25 millihenry, so 25 into 10 minus 3, okay, so that many ohm. So XL is represent, unit is ohm, inductive reactance, it is also ohm. XL equal to this, so I equal to what, V equal to what, nothing but I into XL, okay, so I equal to V by XL, so V by XL you get the value of I. So from here what we can remember, that XL is nothing but omega L or 2 pi FL, and V equal to, we can write as IXL also, okay. Now what happens if we apply AC voltage to a capacitor, okay. Now similar thing for capacitor, what we can see, that you know that for capacitor Q equal to CV, right? So V equal to what, Q by C, okay. Now V is nothing but Vm sin omega t, that is the applied voltage, that is equal to Q by C. Now we know that I equal to what, dq dt, right? That means if you take C this side, if you then differentiate both side with respect to t, what you will get, that dq dt, that is equals to I, which is nothing but ddt of vmc omega t. So c is going here, vmc omega t, and differentiate with respect to t, and q differentiate with respect to t, dq dt, which is nothing but I. So I equal to this term. Now if you differentiate this vmc sin omega t, what you will get, omega c vm cosine of omega t. Now cosine of omega t, what we can write as is nothing but sine of omega t plus pi by 2. So current is what? Nothing but Im into sine omega t plus pi by 2. Okay, here now Im is what? Nothing but omega c Vm, or we can write Vm divided by 1 by omega c. Then omega c will come at the numerator. So Im equal to omega c Vm. Now why we are writing in this fashion? Because I is V by R, or V by impedance. So in to write in this format, we are getting 1 by omega c term, I equal to Vm by 1 by omega c. This 1 by omega c is called Xc. That is called capacitive reactance. Okay. So Xc is nothing but 1 by omega c. So Xc is 1 by omega c, XL is 1 omega L. Okay. So Im equal to what we can write, Vm by Xc, and IL, that we can write say Vm by XL, and in I resistance, I equal to V by R. So I equal to V by R we can write. For inductive circuit, I equal to V by XL we have to write, and for capacitive circuit, I equal to V by XC, where XC equal to 1 by omega C, XL equal to omega L. Okay. Now for the plot, this is your V, and current is leading by 90 degree. Okay. Now current is leading means it should start from here and pi by 2, and it will go to maximum at 0 position. That means it is started from here. That means it is actually started from pi by 2 before. That is called leading. So for inductive circuit, current is lagging. Okay, and for capacitive circuit, current is leading by 90 degree. Pure inductive and pure capacitive circuit. Now from same notation we can do, that is the for capacitor circuit, P equal to what? IV, I into V, Im into cosine omega t, Vm sin omega t. So Vm Im cosine and sine term, then we can find out Vm Im by 2 sine 2 omega t, and if you integrate that over a period, we will get 0. A similar thing we can plot, we can see by plot. Now you can see here, this is the phasor diagram, this is your Vm, this is your Im. Phase angle is 90 degree. So current is leading, it is going anti-clockwise direction omega. Now similarly for inductive circuit, that you can see here, this is your voltage axis, current axis is here, and angle between is 90 degree. So V1 is, this is your anti-clockwise direction, so V1 is leading by 90 degree. Okay. Now see here, this is your blue one is the voltage, red one is the current. This is leading, so it is coming from here. It is actually started from here, minus pi by 2. Okay. Now we can see here that if you multiply up to pi by 2, V and I both are positive, so it is positive. Then pi by 2 to pi, voltage is positive, but current is negative, so it is negative. Now for in this case, voltage and current both are negative, so it is positive. And here voltage is negative, current is positive, so power is negative. So again we can see that this is plus minus, so this ultimately effective value is equal to 0. Okay. Say for same notation, let us solve one problem. That is a 15 microfarad capacitor is connected to a 22450 Hz source. So for every AC source, we must include a frequency of the source. Okay, F, that is frequency. Find the capacitive reactance and the current RMS and peak in the circuit. If the frequency is doubled, what happens to the capacitive reactance and the current? Now say capacitive reactance Xc is nothing but 1 by omega c. Omega is nothing but 2 pi Fc, or 2 pi small mu c also there you can write. So 2 pi F is 50 hertz and C is 15 microfarad, so 15 into 10 to the minus 6. So you got 212 ohm. And so unit of capacitive reactance, capacitive inductance, both are in ohm. Now I equal to what? Nothing but V 220 volt divided by this ohm. So 1.04 amps. Now this is your RMS value because V is RMS. So maximum current value is what? Root 2 of I. Okay, because RMS value is Im by root 2. So Im is root 2 into I. Maximum current that should be multiplied by RMS multiplied by root 2. Okay. So if you do that, you will get the current value. Now the current is oscillate between plus 1.47 m to minus 0.14 1.47 m and is ahead of voltage by pi by 2. If frequency doubled, the capacitive reactance is half. Okay, why? Because if it is 100 doubled, here it is 100, that means it is multiplied by 2. At denominator, frequency is multiplied by 2, so here result will be what? Divided by 2, right? So xc becomes half. If xc becomes half, here current will be doubled. That means what? If you increase the frequency, if the frequency is doubled, capacitive reactance is half, and consequently the current is doubled. So looking at the equations, we can find out. Say another example problem. Say lamp is connected in series with a capacitor. Predict your observation for DC and AC connections. What happened in each case? Now, whenever you connected a DC source to a capacitor, what happens? It will charge and then there is no current flows. It will charge to its maximum and then it stops. There is no current flow. Capacitor acts as open circuit for DC. Okay. Why? I equal to C dB/dt. V is constant. Then what will happen? dB/dt is 0. So I equal to 0. That means it is open circuited. And lamp will not glow as current is not flowing. Now if we apply AC source, it will capacitor offers capacitive reactance 1 by omega c. Current flows in the circuit. Consequently, the lamp will shine or glow. Now reducing C, what will happen? If we 1 by omega c, if you increase capacitance value, then xc value is dropped. So reactance decreases, lamp will shine. Now xc is c increase, xc decreases. If xc decreases, reducing c will increase the reactance and lamp will shine less brightly than before, because if reactance value increases, that means it offers more resistance, so current will be lesser, so the lamp shine less brightly than before. Suppose another type of problem, suppose we have a switch, okay, a light bulb and an open coil inductor are connected to an AC source through a key as shown. Now if we insert a rod inside the coil, what will happen? Now as iron rod is inserted, the magnetic field inside the coil magnetizes the iron, increasing the magnetic field inside it. Hence inductance of the coil increases. Consequently the inductive reactance of the coil increases because X is equal to omega L. Okay. As a result, larger fraction of applied voltage, AC voltage, appears across the inductor, leaving less voltage across the bulb. Therefore, bulb glows, or the glow of the light bulb decreases. Okay. Now suppose we apply RLC circuit. In a RLC circuit, we apply a voltage source. In RLC connected in series, what will happen? Now according to Ohm's KVL, what we can write? V equal to voltage drop across R, that is IR, then across L, L di dt, and across C, V equal to Q by C, as Q equal to CV. Okay. Now then current will be what? Nothing but in form I equal to Im sin omega t plus minus 5. In that form it will come. Okay. So for resistor R, that is reactance value is 0, Z are equal to R. We can write that in terms of R at an angle of 0. Now for inductor, resistance is 0, reactance is omega L, ZL equal to J omega L. That we have seen. That means what we can write? Omega L plus 90 degree. Because here current voltage leads by 90 degree. Now here voltage lags by current 90 degree. So 0 and reactance is 1 by omega C. So ZC is 1 by J omega C. And here this is J. So you can multiply by J. J square is nothing but 1. That J is a imaginary operator. That will be minus 90 degree. So here current is leading. Okay. Voltage is lagging by 90 degree. Now here we can say that according to phasor diagram voltage vector for resistance in phase VR and I both are in phase. For inductor what happens? Voltage is leading by 90 degree. Okay. And for capacitor current is leading by 90 degree from the voltage. This is I, VL, VL is leading, here I is leading, this is anti-clockwise is the omega direction. Now you can remember that ELI, okay, and ICE. ICE means I leading, for capacitor I leading then voltage E, and for inductor LE, E voltage is leading then I. Okay, so this is the way you can remember that. Now according to KVL what we can write, that Vs from this circuit Vs RLC, so that is Vs minus VR minus VL minus VC equal to 0. Okay, then VR is IR, VL equal to LDRET Q by C, then Vs equal to this, that you can write. Okay, now from that if you draw the diagram, phasor diagram, what you can write, I, say this is your I, this is the reference, so VR will be in phase with that, and for inductor voltage is leading from the current, so this is VL, and for pure capacitive that is 90 degree, current is leading, so current is leading here, voltage is lagging. For pure this is the case for inductor and for capacitor, and for resistor is the in phase. Now what will happen if we have combination of RLC circuit, this inductive and capacitive reactance both will may cancel each other, or inductive circuit can be inductive or it can be capacitive also. Now say inductive reactance is higher, so VL minus VC, VL is higher than VC, VL minus VC, then we can find out according to the this hypotenuse of this triangle, we can find out the value of Vs. Okay, that will be Vs square equals to what? We can write VR square plus VL minus VC whole square, or Vs equal to root over of V square, VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. Okay, so in that case what we can write, that VR is nothing but IR sin omega t, angle is 0, or IR. Okay. VL you can write I into XL, and we can multiply it by sine term, that is sin omega t plus 90 degree, because voltage is leading, or we can write I j omega L. For VC IXC sin omega t minus 90 degree. For pure capacitive it is voltage is lagging by 90 degree, or we can write I by j omega c. Okay. Now in this particular equation what we can write, that VR equal to IR, VL equal to IXL, VC equal to IXC, right? VR, VL, VC. So according to that, what you can write, I go out, so we will have R square plus XL minus XC whole square. It can be opposite also, xc minus xl also, depend on which value is higher. So Vs equal to what we can write, I into Z. That is, Z is called impedance. Impedance means in AC circuit we called it resistance, we called it impedance because it is the combination of resistance, inductive reactance and capacitive reactance. This combination is called impedance Z. Now Z is what? Nothing but root over of R square plus XL minus X square or XC minus XL square. Which one is higher? If XC is higher, then total circuit will be capacitive in nature, right? Then what happens? Current will lead, voltage will lag. If it is inductive in nature, then voltage will lead, current will lag. Okay. Now, similar thing we can plot another triangle, that is this is your R, this is your R, XL, XC. Okay. Now we are considering say XC is smaller. So after subtracting, we got XT equal to XL minus XC. Then we can find out Z. So this formula we can apply in a triangular format also. So Z square equal to R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Similar to this voltage relation. Okay, this is voltage relation and this is your resistance and inductance react triangle. Now when XC greater than XL, then overall circuit reactance is capacitive, giving leading phase angle. Current is leading. Again, XL, if XL is greater than XC, then the overall circuit reactance is inductive, giving the series circuit a lagging phase angle or current is lagging. Now, when XL equal to XC, it becomes pure resistive. That is the condition for called resonance. Okay. So, impedance value is what? Z equal to nothing but root over R square plus XL. Instead of XL, we can write omega L minus XC. We can write 1 by omega C whole square. And according to this triangle, what is cos phi? Cos phi is nothing but R by Z. If this angle is phi, cos phi equal to R by Z. Okay. So again, sin phi equal to XL minus XC by Z or tan phi equal to XL minus XC by R. That you can find out. Say for a circuit XL, we have to find out the value of, this is a circuit, and say you have to calculate the total circuit impedance, circuit current, power factor, and so power factor. This cos phi is called power factor, which is nothing but R by Z. Okay. Now XL is 2 pi FL, so we can find out L. 2 pi F is given, so XL we find out XC value, both are in ohm. Now XL is greater than XC, so Z equals to root over R square plus XL minus XC whole square. So we got value of Z. Now I is nothing but Vs by Z. Vs is given 100 volt, 100 volt by Z at amps, and this is nothing but in RMS. Okay. So VR, voltage drop across resistance, will be I into R, VL I into XL, VC I into XC, and cos phi power factor will be R by Z. So we know value of R and we know value of Z. So we can find out the value of cos phi equal to this. So phi angle is cos inverse of 0.619, which is 51.8 degree, lagging. Now why it is lagging? We are saying lagging because this is inductive circuit, because XL is greater than XC. Okay, that is why we have to consider lagging power factor. Okay. Now what is the value of power in AC circuit and what is power factor? Now you know that V equal to Vm sin omega t and I equal to Im sin omega t plus minus phi. Okay, and Im is Vm by Z, phi is tan inverse Xc minus XL by R. So if we find out P, V into I, so what we will get according to 2 sin A sin B, that is cosine of A minus B minus cosine of A plus B. So if you apply that here, so we will get cos phi minus cosine of 2 omega t plus phi. Okay, this is A minus B, so phi, and A plus B, so that is 2 omega t plus phi. Now if we integrate over, if you want to find out the average power, what will happen is this term becomes 0. Okay, so we will have only cosine phi term. So P equal to Vm Im by 2 cosine phi. Now these two we can divide in root 2 and root 2. So root 2 whole square equal to nothing but 2. So Vm by 2 is nothing but V RMS, I RMS. So P equal to Vi cos phi. Okay. Or we can write I square Z cos phi. Okay. Because I equal to V by Z or V equal to Iz. V equal to Iz, so I square Z cos phi. Now, so the average power dissipated depends not only on the voltage and current but also on the cosine of the phase angle between them. Now, this quantity cosine cos phi is called the power factor. Now, what happened for pure resistive circuit? What happened here that phi equal to 0, so cos cosine 0 is 1. Okay, so we have the maximum power dissipation I square into Z. Pure inductive circuit or pure capacitive circuit, that is phi is pi by 2. If you put pi by 2, that will be cosine of pi by 2 will be 0. So for pure inductive and capacitive circuit, power is 0. Now if we have RLC series circuit where phi may be 0, non-zero value, depends on the factor which one XL is greater or XC is greater. Okay, and the resonance condition when XC minus XL equal to 0 or XC equal to XL when phi equal to also 0. So it is pure resistive circuit. At that time maximum power is dissipated in the circuit. So resistive circuit is always dissipate more power. When there is an inductor or capacitor, then power is little bit lesser. Okay. Say for a problem we have R, L and C values, voltage and frequency, impedance of the circuit. So to find out impedance, what you have to do is you have to find out XL, 2 pi FL, XC, 1 by 2 pi FC, omega L and 1 by omega C. We got these two value. Again XL is greater than XC. So Z equal to root over R square plus XA minus XC whole square. So we got value of Z. Phase difference you can find out tan inverse XC minus XL by R. That is lagging. Now see here this value is minus and XL is higher. So it is lagging. So phi is negative. The current in the circuit lags the voltage, okay, across the source. The power dissipated in the circuit is P equal to I square R, or we can write P VI cos phi. So now I equal to Im by root 2. So we got the value of I. So, so I is Im by root 2, 1 by root 2, and R value of R is known. So you can find out value of I. Therefore P equal to, we can find out, and cos phi is nothing but phi is known. So we have to put the value. We get cos phi is 0.6. Now we have a complex numbers and phasors. Now complex number is the, okay, this video is going too long. So now in AC circuit we have a complex number system. Okay, that is the main point, and that can be written in rectangular and Cartesian form. Now complex number is nothing but j. J term is nothing but root over of minus 1, or that is plus j, which means it is plus 90 degree. Okay, and j square is nothing but root over minus 1 whole square, it is minus 1. So this value is on 180 degree, and j cube is again minus j, so that is 270 degree, and j4 it gives you a plus 1 again, so that is along the 0 degree. So now complex number is written as form as z equal to x plus jy. Okay, and in complex plane we can plot that real part, imaginary part. So this is a 6 plus j4. Okay, this is the complex number point, and this is according to the 4 quadrant. So this is having both positive for imaginary and real axis. Here real axis is negative but imaginary is positive. Here both real and imaginary negative. Here real axis is positive but imaginary is negative. So what we can write here, that 0 degree is nothing but plus minus 360 degree, which is equal to 1. Say 0 degrees we can write as 1 at angle 0, or we can write as 1 plus j0. And 90 degree we can write as plus j. Okay, that we can write as 1 at angle 90 degree or 0 plus j1. Now we can convert this polar. This is called Cartesian, this is called polar form. We can convert and we can see, we can find out value. Minus 90 degrees and minus j, that means 1 at angle minus 90, so that is 0 minus. So when we have plus 90, that means 0 plus j1, minus 90 0 minus j1. 0 degree means 1 plus j0, plus minus 180 degree means minus 1 plus 0. Okay, so now the complex number addition. Addition is very simple. That is a equal to x plus jy and b equal to w plus jz. So we can add the real number, we can add the imaginary number, taking z as a common factor. Okay. For subtraction also same thing. So x minus w plus j y minus z. Okay. So take one example, 4 plus 2 6, and here 3 plus 1 4, and 4 plus 2 2, and j 1 minus 3, so minus j2. Okay. Now 4 plus j4, that means what? It has resistance of value R6, and plus j4 means what? It is an XL, L inductor. So this is RL circuit, combination of RL. 2 minus j2 means it is combination of RC. Okay, because we have plus j4, here we have minus j2. Now multiplication also we can done. We can do using this concept again. 2 plus j1, 2 plus j2, we have to cross multiply, and we have to put the value of j square is minus 1, so we get the value. For division, we have to multiply the new denominator with complex conjugate. 2 plus j3 is the complex number, its complex conjugate is 2 minus j3. That means real part will have the same sign, imaginary part will have the opposite sign. Okay, 2 plus j3, 2 minus j3. Then if we do the multiplication, we will get this value. But no, complex conjugate 2 plus 6 plus j4, complex conjugate is nothing but 6 minus j4. Here real part sign will remain same, but imaginary part sign will change. Okay. Now complex number we can write in polar form. The Cartesian form means that is x plus jy. Okay. Now if we x here, this is your jy. Then if we draw this hypotenuse, and according to the Pythagoras theorem, what we can find, this a square equal to nothing but a square plus y square, or a equal to root over x square plus y square. And what is the value of x in terms of this angle theta? X equal to nothing but cosine of a cosine of theta, y equal to a sine of theta, right? So and theta equal to what? Tan inverse y by x. So polar form is written in a theta point, a angle of theta, and Cartesian form written in x plus jy or x minus jy format. So what we can do is we can convert polar to rectangular. Say polar is 6 at angle 30, we have to convert x plus jy, right? So x will be what? 6 into cosine of 30, that is a cosine 30, right? 6 cosine 30, and y will be what? Nothing but 6, that is the a sine 30, sine theta or sine 30. Then we can find out the value. Similarly, to rectangular to polar, what happens? A is nothing but root over of x square plus y square, and theta equal to tan inverse y by x. Y by x. We don't have to consider j value here, and so we can have this rectangular form convert into polar form, and here polar form convert to rectangular. Okay. In polar form, what we can do, we can multiply and divide very easily. If we multiply z1 into z2, which is having a1 angle theta 1, a2 angle theta 2, then we have to just multiply the magnitude term, and for angle we have to add. Say 6 at angle 30, 8 at angle minus 45 degree. If we multiply, Then 8 and 6 we have to multiply 48, and angle we have to add 30 degree plus minus 45 degree. So we get this. If it is having do not have this plus minus sign, so we have to add these two. If we have minus here, so minus 30 plus 45 or minus 30 minus 45, that will depends on the value of theta and theta 2. Main point is we have to add the angles and we have to multiply the magnitude value. The division is also same thing. A1 and A2, say A1 you have to multiply, I mean divide by A2, and here angle in division you have to subtract from numerator minus denominator. Say 6 at angle 30, you have to divide 8 at angle minus 45 degree. What I have to do? 6 divided by 8, the value angle 30 minus then whatever the angle of the Z2, which is minus 45 degree. So we will get the result. So this is how we can perform multiplication and addition in polar form. So whenever you have to do multiplication and division, multiplication and division, we can apply in polar form, and in case of subtraction and addition, we can apply in Cartesian form, and in between we can convert polar to Cartesian and Cartesian to polar. Okay, depend on the calculation. Another way representation is we can represent in exponential form also. So now z of, so this is a at a angle of theta. Instead of that, we can write a angle phi. Instead of, we can write e to the power j phi. E to the power j phi, we can write according to Euler identity cos phi plus j sin phi. Okay, that means what? If this is your a, this is your phi, and this is your cos phi, this is your sin phi, then a equal to what? Root over of cos 1 square plus sin square phi. Okay, so that we can get here. So z equal to, we can write as x plus complex number, we can write as a z equal to x plus jy, or rectangle, this is Cartesian form, a at a angle of theta, which is polar form, or a cosine phi plus j sin phi, this is in exponential form. Okay, now just look into this part. V equal to Vm cosine of omega t plus phi. Now according to Euler identity, what we can write, e to the power plus minus j theta equal to cos theta plus minus j sin theta. Then if it is written like that, V equal to 20 cosine of omega t plus 30 degree, that means what? This is your maximum value Vm. So we can find out divide by root 2. So RMS value at a angle of 30 degree. Okay. Now Vm again divided by root 2, and this is at an angle of 45 degree. So that is the VRMS value. For this case, angle is minus 30 degree. Vm is divided by root 2 to find out VRMS, but angle you have to find out from this omega t plus or minus. If it is 0 for cosine term, we have to put it 0 here. So this is how we can find out from the given voltage value to the polar form. Okay. So always note, root 2 converts maximum amplitude into effective or RMS value. That is, maximum divided by root 2 is the RMS value. Okay. The phase angle is given in omega. That you have to remember. Okay. So this is it for today. Next lecture I will uh, discuss some problems on AC circuit analysis. Okay. So thank you so much.